I'm back today with a haul video. I've got 2 stacks of books over here, and in those stacks I have some danmei, some manga and manhwa, and a mix of new releases and some just new to my collection titles. I also have a little bit of merch that I've gotten over the past couple weeks, so I'll share that as well. And as usual, I will have timestamps below, so feel free to use those to jump around. So I'll get started with the first book, and it is Solo Leveling, Volume 14. And it says here, Side Stories 1. So I thought Volume 14 was going to be the last volume of this series. I believe the Korean release, Volume 14, is the final volume. But evidently, we're going to have a Volume 15 with Side Stories 2. So we're almost through the print release of Solo Leveling. So this is one that I read digitally. So I have already read the whole series, but I will be looking forward to doing a full read through at some point once the English release has finished. But I really like the story and looking forward to the next season of the anime as well. I also got in the mail Volume 2 of ORV, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, the novel. And I haven't read this one yet. I read the first one last year, I think in the summer, so a lot of time has passed. So I'm going to need to go back through the end of Volume 1 and just make sure I know where Volume 2 is picking up. But I do really like this series. I have stayed caught up with the digital release of the manhwa, and I'm really looking forward to reading through the novel because this is the source material, and with my read through of Volume 1, I really enjoyed the extra detail in the novel, the inner monologues. So looking forward to continuing this one. I find the design choice kind of interesting. The first volume had like silver foil and this one has purple. I love the detail of the raised constellations on the covers and then the die cut cover to reveal the illustration. But I'm curious what the next volumes, what colors they're going to be, and I hope it will look aesthetic on our shelves. Next, I have 2 review copies that were sent to me by Inklore. Thank you so much, Inklore. I'm always so excited to try new titles that are coming out. But first, I have this book here that I had never heard of, Flight. It's an 8-volume series where I believe each volume is an anthology. And this first volume has 24 different short stories by different authors and artists. And as the title indicates, Flight, each of the stories has to do with flight. So aviation, there are some that are just about like birds flying, kites flying. So I thought this was a nice collection to kind of showcase different artists, and just every story is just very different, a very different tone with the storytelling and the art style. But I enjoyed my read through of it. Oh, and then here is the other. Here are the other covers of the other 7 volumes. Flight. So I thought this was a nice collection. And just anthologies in general, I think, are nice to be able to try out a lot of different artists and authors that you could then find a new favorite. And then the other review copy that Inklore sent was The Makeup Remover, and this was an ARC they sent for Volume 1. And I really enjoyed this. I hadn't heard of this one before. It's a manhwa, and I found it really funny, but then I really liked the messages in it too. Like, it's going to be a romance. The romance is not really romancing yet in Volume 1, but the premise is that this makeup artist is looking for a model for an upcoming competition, and he's looking for someone who has a really plain face that does not draw attention so that he can use it as a blank canvas and let his makeup design shine through. And the main character, this girl, is just the perfect fit for him. So she's a university student who didn't experience a glow up after high school. And we see here the makeup artist says he wants someone with a plain, dull face that can completely transform depending on the makeup. And then when they encounter a plain, dull face that can completely transform depending on the makeup, he has found what he's looking for, and she's not particularly pleased about it. But I really like the humor in it, but even more so the positive messages about confidence and beauty as it pertains to makeup and the beauty industry, both the good and the bad. But this was a fun first volume, and I'm looking forward to the story continuing. Volume 1 releases March 3rd, so just over a month, and we'll have that first volume. The next book is another review copy that was sent to me, and I actually just read it tonight and really enjoyed it. Big thank you to Crossed Hearts for sending over this really cute little box that it came in. It's empty now, but this was really fun getting this in the mail, this cute little box with the manhwa in it, along with this art print of the main characters. But I read this evening and really enjoyed it. It follows this girl on the cover. I'll put this here if you want to pause and read the official blurb. Oh, and it's from a webtoon that has a different title, Honey, I'm Going on a Strike. Baroness goes on strike. But the story follows this main character who was married off to a war hero at 18, and the story starts with her in her late 20s, on her deathbed, about to die from a terminal illness. She's really sad that she's going to be leaving behind her children, but then she is also going to be leaving behind her husband, who she feels has not ever shown her any affection or really been there for her and her kids. But when she wakes up, she finds herself 10 years in the past, waking up the morning after her wedding night. So realizes that she's about to live through this relationship with her husband again, and decides that instead of living her life the same way, working really hard, just doing thankless work and being neglected by her husband, she's going to focus on herself, not work so hard, and then divorce her husband, but not until she gives birth to her kids, because she really wants to have them in her life. I really enjoyed this, and especially really liked the Baron. She views him as so cold and aloof, but already from chapter 1, you can see that there are some misunderstandings. But because she has a second chance at life, she's being very direct and very blunt when she interacts with her husband, and because of that, they're able to get to the bottom of some of the misunderstandings that lasted through their whole marriage the first time around. But I really like the male lead. He's always seemed so cold to her, but in reality, he is actually just a bit shy and acts that way to cover over his embarrassment, and he is actually extremely cute and sweet. So really excited to see where the story goes from where it ended, and excited to see how the dynamic of this couple develops as they, right from the start, have a big change in their relationship. But the series is ongoing still with the original language release. I think the digital release is currently in season 4 and ongoing, so not sure how long the story is going to be. I know that it's based on a novel, but I'm not sure how long the novel is. But I saw that the digital release also has 2 versions, a teen rating like R15 or R16, and then an R19 version that has mature content. So this one is rated teen 16 plus. So as the story continues, I might have to check out the digital release to see some of that maybe spicy content. But enjoyed this volume and looking forward to continuing this story. Next, I have a Yen Press exclusive variant for volume 1, and this was from the Yen Press online store for this hardcover release. And this isn't my favorite cover of all of the like variant covers that they've had so far, but I just loved that it was hardcover, such a deluxe feel to it, and that it came with a slipcase that looked like a record or record player. I thought that was so cool. And with the page edges on that side, and just very cool. And this was a limited release that was numbered. So here's mine, 2,323. I don't remember how many copies there were, but as soon as I saw a friend on Instagram had picked this up, I didn't want to miss out on it. So glad to have gotten this. Oh, I'll just go ahead and flip through. It's the same volume as the regular releases. I love the green throughout the whole story. But I'm a huge fan of her Uncle Joe. But their story is really sweet, and I'm looking forward to the story continuing. There he is. I love him. But I really love too just how he dotes on his niece and really cares about her happiness. So finally adding this to my collection. And I was waiting to pick up the first volume because there were all these variant covers, so got this one. The guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. And I think I forgot to mention, this is a high school romance where the two girls are classmates, and one of the girls looks very different outside of school. And so her classmate, when she sees her at work, thinks that she's a guy and doesn't realize that she's the classmate that sits right next to her. But this one too is ongoing right now, so looking forward to continuing this one. Before I continue with the books, I'll share a couple of the merch items that we've gotten in. So first, we got a new Nendoroid. I feel like it's been a while since we got our last Nendoroid, but this is one that we had pre-ordered, Ada Wong from Resident Evil. And we haven't opened it yet or set her up yet, but her little accessories look so cute. And this is a game that my husband is a big fan of. So wanted to get this for him, and probably gonna set it up soon. And I'll probably do a YouTube short too when I have her all set up and can share some of her different poses. But we pre-ordered her from Ami, and then also picked up a few in-stock lookup figures because we were already going to be paying international shipping, so why not just add a couple more things to the order. So they're both lookup figures from One Piece, and so far from One Piece I have just Sanji in his regular outfit, so I wanted to get his second lookup figure of him in his Egghead Island outfit. He's so cute! I love his lookup figures. They're so cute. I can't wait to get this on my shelf. I've had these for a couple weeks, and I opened Crocodile's right away, but I didn't open Sanji's until this week. But he's so cute. I'm so happy to have him. Oh, and then I just said Crocodile. He is the other one that we got because he was just too cute to resist. And he's been sitting on my shelf looking at me, and he's so cute. I love his outfit for his lookup figure design. So this is his Cross Guild outfit. I love the orange and purple. And his jacket. Honestly, I love that his jacket kind of stabilizes his figure, because with Sanji's other figure, it's in the same pose where he's sitting with his legs like this. And I've been holding this Sanji and kind of like bumping him to see how stable he is, because my other one falls so easily. Like, they're look up figures, but when I have my other Sanji looking down and just have him sitting there, he will just tip over. So hopefully this Sanji will be a bit more stable. But then I'm happy that Crocodile has this like coat lining the bottom, so he's very stable. But super cute. He looks so innocent. Well, he has a little smirk. He's got a little smirk on his expression and his face, but he looks too cute to be mad at him for his crimes. So Crocodile and Sanji, my latest lookup figures. And then a couple more One Piece merch items. So over this fall, I did pre-order an advent calendar from a pin maker that I've bought from before. And all I knew is that they would be One Piece pins. And I only collect Sanji, so I was really hoping there would be a Sanji pin. And I was willing to risk it because I felt like if I didn't get the calendar, then it might be hard to just get the individual pin later on. But I was super pleased that of the 12 pins in the advent calendar, 3 of them were Sanji related. So I loved this one. I was so happy about it. Sanji's lighter and it's gorgeous. Just very detailed. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus on it. Just a lot of detail with the texture. So really happy about that. And then this one, Bratier's sardines. So just a mention to the Bratier and seafood related, cooking related. Happy to have Sanji related things in my pin collection. And then lastly, this one is more of a Crocodile pin, I think, because of the casino. But in the Alabasta arc, Sanji plays such a big role, like, during this scene. Like, he is the one who is playing on the slot machines. So even though it's Crocodile's casino, it is Sanji who is interacting with this slot machine in the story. So I was happy to have this third pin that I could force a connection to Sanji. Okay, and then back to the books, 2 more new releases. So, A Condition Called Love, Volume 16. I'm a big fan of this shojo high school romance series, and it's coming to an end. It's already ended in Japan, so we just have a couple more volumes. I think it ended with Volume 18, so 2 more volumes to go. I'm a big fan of the male lead in this story, Hananoi. He is such a sweetheart. He does have yandere characteristics, which I love about him, but I really like his character arc through the series as he's trying to figure out how to show love in an appropriate way, as well as coming to terms with things from his own life and the type of affection and love that he wants to receive from a partner. And I can't believe this one is already almost complete in English, so we'll be looking forward to the next 2 volumes to release. The next series is The Lady and Her Butler, Volume 5. So this is one that I had been really, really excited when it was announced that it would be getting an English print release, as I have read the series digitally. But these 2 on the cover are side characters. The main character is the female lead, who is a very successful businesswoman who is very busy and neglects things in her personal life so that she can focus on work. And the first volume starts with a misunderstanding where the male lead is a victim of rental fraud, and he enters her apartment thinking that he's just paid to lease it, and he's going through some hard times, and because he notices that her place is a mess, he offers and begs to let him stay in her guest bedroom and rent it from her in exchange for doing all of the housekeeping for her, cooking, and just everything that she has been neglecting. And that's why it's called The Lady and Her Butler. But I really like this one. It's really funny. I like the romance in it. And there are twists along the way, a lot of drama and angst. So really happy that we got this one in English. And then it's going to be 9 volumes. So we're over halfway there now with this release. And can't wait for the next volumes. I read the first, I think, 2 volumes as they released, but because of the wait between volumes, then I forget what happened. So I don't prefer to read the volumes as they release. So I'm waiting until we get the final volume, and then this one too, I'll plan to do a full read through once it's complete. Okay, moving into my second stack of books. And these are all BL titles. First is Twittering Birds Never Fly, Volume 2. So Volume 2 has been super elusive and very much in need of a reprint. I picked up the series last year and was able to get Volumes 1 to 7, excluding Volume 2, and have just been keeping an eye out for a copy that is priced reasonably. I was hoping I would find a copy secondhand, and every listing I saw was so expensive, so I was just trying to be patient and wait. And I was able to get a copy. It was a secondhand listing, but it was still wrapped, so I was super pleased that I was able to get this at retail price and brand new. So this series is a crime BL with dark themes. It follows a Yakuza and his newly appointed bodyguard, and through the series just kind of explores the trauma that they both have and how it's affected them into adulthood and the impact that the two of them have on each other, despite their very different circumstances in the past and in the present. There's a bit of complexity with the organizations involved because there are different conflicts that are happening while the character arcs are happening and the relationship dynamic is changing between the main characters. So it's been a couple years since I've read this series, and I remember very vividly a lot of things about the main characters and their relationship, but a lot of the details about the side characters and their groups and the conflicts and grudges I don't really remember. So now that I have all the volumes through Volume 7, I'm gonna need to do a read through soon. And I'm hoping that we'll get some news soon about June, because everyone is convinced that they've gone out of business. And I wish that they would just confirm it for us. But I'm hoping that if that's the case, that another publisher will be able to pick up the license. If that's the case, they'll probably start back over from Volume 1, but I'll at least have the original first 7 volumes. But in Japan, Volume 9 has already released. And so I just really hope that we'll be able to get that content in English. But super happy that I was able to find this. Hooray! Next is the first volume of a 2-volume series, and I'm probably going to say it wrong. Haberdashery Ginmokusei, Part 1. So I do have Volume 2 on the way. I pre-ordered it. And I'm a big fan of this mangaka. I've picked up her other series that we've gotten in English, surprisingly across several different publishers. So this one is Kuma, and then The Middlehead Next Door was picked up by Sublime, and then 7 Seas has released a couple more. Wanna Be My Dress-Up Lover and 10 Things I Want to Do Before I Turn 40. But I love that her work is getting released in English. I really like her art style and storytelling, and I've enjoyed everything of hers that I've read. This one follows 2 guys who work at a tailor shop. Of course, there's more complexity than that, but really excited to read this. I've been waiting until Volume 2 got to me so I could just read them both together, but I love that for most of this series, they're going to be in formal attire and can't wait to read it. Next are a bunch of doujinshi that are related to this series. So I picked up this series and read it last year in these words. It's 4 volumes and ongoing, following a forensic psychiatrist who is working with the Tokyo Police Department to lure out and catch a serial killer that they've been tracking through many victims. So after catching up through to volume 4 and starting to feel impatient for the story to continue, I went ahead and picked up all of the prequel and spin-off side story doujins. I shared a YouTube short where I just showed all the covers of them, but right now I have them tucked on different shelves because I have been reading through them. I'm into the 4th one right now, and I've been really enjoying getting this extra content. They're a mix of comics and novels, so hoping it will keep me satisfied for a while I wait on the next volume release. I'm glad that I didn't get into this series until it already had 4 volumes out, because from what I've heard, this is a very slow releasing series. So I'm going to be patient, but I'm loving getting some extra content with these prequels and spin-off stories. Just getting extra content on the main characters of this series and just kind of building on their characters so that I can take that information and appreciate this story even more. But of the ones I picked up, I think I'm still missing 3 that were out of stock from the website when I made my order. So just keeping an eye out for those to restock so that I can have this whole universe in full in my collection, but already just enjoying that extra content so far. Next is Semantic Error Volume 4. So I really like this series. I've been following the print release of Semantic Error, even though I did already read the series before the print release digitally. I think it was either this week or last week that the first volume of the novel released, so excited to check that out. I did read, I believe, the first 2 volumes of the novel from Pabling's release, and I was kind of glad when I heard that Yen Press's release of the novel that they were collaborating with Pabling because they had already been translating the series for its digital release. But I'm a big fan of the art style in the manhwa, and I really like the story and the dynamic between the 2 main characters. It's university set, following 2 guys who are polar opposites, and the series starts out with definitely enemies to lovers because they get off on the wrong foot and just clash so much through the first volume and into the second volume, but the development of the relationship is really fun. There's a lot of really good humor and also some spice. I think with volume 3, it started having spicy content, so glad that the print release is mature because the digital release was not rated mature. And the next couple titles are novels. The first one is Bowing to Love, The Noble and the Gladiator. So I read this one pretty quickly after I got it. I was excited to read it because it's by the same writer as the Deadlock novels, which I really enjoy. This was my first time reading a BL set in this type of historical setting, like ancient Greek or Rome, kind of the gladiator era. But I enjoyed it. I kind of went into it thinking about Zoro and Sanji because my husband kept saying that the cover made it look like it was a Zosan romance. And they did kind of have those vibes. The gladiator is pretty aloof and blunt, but then kind of cuts back and forth between teasing and then going back to being cold. And then the noble is very much a tsundere, very prideful about his status, but then also not honest about his feelings, timid and shy and gets embarrassed easily, but their dynamic is fun. The story does have quite a bit of misunderstandings throughout and doesn't have a lot of depth to the plot, but I still really enjoyed it. And I think this is the first airship title that I've picked up from 7 Seas. So this isn't a danmei because it is a Japanese novel, not Chinese. But if you want to pause to read the official blurb, here it is. And it is rated, actually, it's rated older teen, but like I don't know if Airship doesn't do mature ratings, but this should have a mature rating. But the story is split into 2 parts, The Noble and the Gladiator, and then A Vow for Eternity. So when I saw the contents, I wasn't sure if they would be in the first half and then the second half would be a different story, but it does continue to follow them in the second half just as the story kind of veers off onto a different plot line from just the relationship developments. But I really liked the art too. The cover illustration is by the same artist who does the inside illustrations, and then there's it's a little spicy, a bonus color illustration inside as well. But this one was a fun read, kind of different for me just because of the period, but Bowing to Love. Next is a danmei series, Volume 1, Thrice Married to a Salted Fish. I really enjoyed this one. The past couple weeks I've been reading through some new release danmei Volume 1s just to kind of see which ones are for me, which ones I want to continue, and this has been my favorite so far I think I read 3 or 4 of them so far. And then I have a couple more that I'm planning to read over the next couple weeks. So many new danmei titles starting. Well, I think some of these released like last year in November and December, so I'm just now getting to them. But I really enjoyed this one. I picked up this copy rather than reading an ebook first. Typically, I will read the ebooks to kind of get a vibe for this story before I pick up the physical volumes, which is what I did with the next series in this pile. But for this one, I picked up a physical right away because it was a special edition release. So I've already put some of the artwork that came with the special edition as bonuses. I've put some of the art in my albums, and then the poster I already have put on display on my shelf because I loved it. But I did a YouTube short showing what all was included with the special edition. But some really nice stuff. I'm not really sure what's going on with 7 Seas with their danmei special editions. Some of them have been really underwhelming, just what was included compared to past special editions that they've released. But then for the same price, there's one special edition I have on the way. So I haven't actually gotten it yet, but I've seen other people posting about it. And it's a series that I'm really excited to get and to read, Silent Reading by Priest. But I'm so disappointed by the special edition not having a poster, not having prints, but instead having just a bookmark, a notebook, and then 2 badges. And so because that's all that was included, everyone was expecting the badges to be really impressive, but the badges were just these little designs printed on little cards that I think cut the edges of the badge off and then just have like white on the corners and just kind of seems like it was incomplete or something. But for that to be the same price as other special editions that have released with like multiple prints and a bookmark and posters is just kind of disappointing. But I'm glad that with this one, it did have a poster and prints. I did notice though that the poster is on like a thicker material than some of the older ones, like Guardian posters were thin, and then this one is just like, almost feels like cardstock. So I would be glad to have a sturdier poster, but then to make it fit with the sale of books, they fold them and then they fold them again. And so because the paper is so thick, the crease lines through the center of the poster are so visible, like there isn't really a good way to smooth them out, and the creases are just so deep. So I hope they kind of figure out a way to do a better job with that, as well as future special edition releases to have the same value as they have with previous ones. But anyways, back to this series, Thrice Married to a Salted Fish, Volume 1. This one's going to be 4 volumes. I'm really, really excited for the next volume to release. I got really emotional reading this one, but the premise is that, I'll put on the screen if you want to pause and read the official premise. But the premise of this series is that a young man who is aspiring to be a physician, his dreams are cut short when he is decreed by the emperor to marry a man who is terminally ill. and these strings were pulled by the emperor's wife because this is her nephew. And the reason he was chosen was because of astrology, the numbers relating to his date and time of birth, the way that they aligned with what was going to be fortunate for him. They believed that having him by his side would prolong his life. So he goes into the marriage and into that estate feeling really negative, feeling really vengeful toward these people that just made these decisions one-sidedly. But the story's been really fun. I really like the main character's personality, and then the way that their circumstances kind of change as the story goes. I feel like this first volume left off on a good point, like in the progress of the development of the plot. Like it wasn't a cliffhanger, but it was just a really hard place to leave off just because of really wanting to know what happened, like right past the ending. But really looking forward to the story continuing, and I really love the art on the first volume cover. And Seven Seas just released the volume 3 cover illustration a week or two ago, and it's kind of spoilery, so just looking forward to getting the next volume, I think in February. And then I'm hoping that the series might be complete by the end of the year. I think volume 3 might be scheduled for like June or July. So hopefully this fall we'll get volume 4 and be able to finish off this series. The next series, I got 3 volumes for The Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish. I loved this one. I read it last year. I think I read it in December, and I had got the ebooks because my friends kept recommending it, and so I wanted to try it out, but I honestly didn't think that I was going to like it as much as I did. But I only have the first 3 volumes because I wanted the volume 4 special edition, and when I put in my order, I thought it was going to ship right out, but evidently it was put on back order, so I hope I'm not like too late to the series where it'll be hard to get the special edition, but hoping that any day now I will get a tracking notification saying it has shipped. But for now, I have the first 3 volumes, and it's making me really excited because I liked the story so much, and I'm going to try to do a reread of it maybe this summer because I want to tab and annotate it. But this is a historical set series, but it is a transmigration. So it follows a character from the modern world who transmigrates to a historical setting. And it is actually a novel that he is transported into, and it's a novel he's read. So he is familiar with the people and the things that happen, all the drama in the palace. But when he wakes up, he is a fish. And so the first several missions that he's given through this system that communicates with him all revolve around gaining affection from the prince at the estate that the fish wakes up in. So he is a fish, he wakes up in the kitchen because he is there to be cooked and eaten. So he has to get the attention of the prince. The prince takes him in as a pet, and as he accomplishes each task, then he's given new tasks to help the prince have a happy ending and save himself from being stuck as a fish. But I'll put this up if you want to see the volume 1 premise. But I liked this so much. So it's called The Disabled Tyrant because the prince that he is trying to get affection from was born unable to speak, which makes it challenging because he is a fish and unable to speak, and then trying to fulfill his tasks is a challenge. But as you can see from the volume 2 and 3 covers, there becomes a way for the fish to be able to have time in human form. And so then it's still a challenge for him to do the things he's supposed to do. But I just really loved this story. It has a lot of humor in it, and it is pretty feel-good. Not a lot of angst, though there is drama around the prince's relatives and just the palace drama. The princes scheming against each other for becoming the crown prince. But as far as the relationship and those developments, those are more fun and feel really rewarding too, rather than being angsty. But hoping that I'll get my volume 4 soon. Really happy to have this now. And the spines are so cute. I love the meaning behind this art on the spine, and then these peach blossom pastries. I was so curious about them and begged my husband to try making it from a recipe that we found because it's repeatedly mentioned and eaten throughout the story. But really happy to have this one now in my collection, and we'll really be looking forward to rereading it later on this year, and can't wait for all of the special edition extras and artwork. And then lastly, I have 2 volumes of a Korean manhwa series called Legs That Won't Walk. I recently got my Korea proxy order in the mail, and these were included. And I wasn't going to actually share these in this haul because most of the other merch items that I got, I haven't opened them up from the plastic and really gone through them. So I was going to wait and put these together with the rest of my merch in my next haul video, but everything else is paper merch and these are books. So I thought, oh, they're books, I'll just put them in this haul video. But I posted a YouTube short where I went through the extras that came with these books. So each one came with a print and 2 photo cards. And then this one came with an extra double-sided print, and this one came with an extra lenticular photo card. So after I went through all of that today, I reorganized my shelf a little bit to fit these 2 new volumes in my Legs That Won't Walk display, and also sorted all the paper goods into my Legs That Won't Walk binder. And it was perfect. I only had to add 1 page of pockets for the prints, but I had spaces for all the photo cards, so I was really happy with how my binder turned out. When I was working on my binder, I did do a live on Instagram, and it was only 30 minutes because I was just trying to find a place for everything. And I did a little bit of a flip through of all of my Legs That Won't Walk photo cards, prints, just merch items. So if you are curious about that, it's different from the YouTube short that I shared, but I have the live saved in my reels on Instagram. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. But these were volumes 6 and 7, and I believe that this is content into season 3. So I think volumes 1, 2, and 3 covered season 1, and then volumes 4 and 5 covered most of season 2. So I think volume 6 covers the rest of season 2 and into season 3. So I'm curious how many volumes it's going to be total. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next cover illustrations will be. I love this one. And this one's going to be my display volume for a while because I really like the gangster boss and then the main character. But really inclined to do a reread now that I got these in, just because I get really excited with each volume release of this one. And since I can't read Korean, it makes me want to go back and read the digital release again. But really hoping that this one will get a print release in English one day. I would love to have it. And because I didn't mention the premise at all, I forgot. But this is a gangster series that follows a boxer who has to retire because of an injury. And then upon retiring, finds out that his name was forged for a loan that a relative took out. And this gangster is one of the ones that comes to collect. And because he can't pay, he shows a fighting spirit and is offered to basically join the group at the most bottom level to work for them to pay off his debts. So that's where the story starts. But really hoping that we'll get this one in English, and for now just collecting the Korean release so that I can get all the extras and have it in book form on my shelves. But this is everything, a lot of new, exciting things that I'm super happy to have in my collection now. I just last week uploaded my favorite reads of 2025 videos, one for manga and manhwa and one for danmei and novels. So make sure to check those out, as I do not typically do a lot of review and recommendation videos. I mostly do haul videos, and then if I've recently read it, then I will give my review on having read it. But it was really fun to work on that video and revisit all of my favorites from last year. But hope you enjoyed watching. This is probably going to end up being a long video based on the recording time, but I'll see you again soon in another video. It'll probably be my next haul, and I do have a lot of books on the way, so I will have a lot to share. So see you then. Thanks for watching.